Much love to you all, and I am Wayne Johnson with Doc and Queen Ministries, also the author of the book entitled Every Child Deserves a Father, which can be found on Amazon. Today's title will be Kids Feel Entitled. Kids Feel Entitled. And I'm going to be coming from two different scripture verses out of Proverbs. Probably the reason why Proverbs is probably my favorite book in the Bible. So let's get to the scriptures. Bear with me for just a moment. And I will be coming from Proverbs, first chapter 22, I believe verse 6. Yes, Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6, and I'm going to go back old school. I'm going to be using the King James Version, and it reads, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. The next one I want to use out of Proverbs is Proverbs 13 verse 24, and it reads, he that spareth his rod hates his son, but he that loveth him chastises him betimes.
Can't you see it?
Sorry, my eyes is kind of get older. You can't see as close up as you did when you were younger. What I want to share is our kids of today have become to the point that they are entitled.
I'm entitled to these things, Lois.
And I'm not saying that we all haven't felt that way even when we were younger, but it is so much more prevalent today. After seeing the Cam Newton camp, 7-on-7 camp yesterday, and just seeing the kids just swing on Cam Newton was alarming. But way before then, actually this weekend, I rave about my grandkids and pretty much how well they do. But even they have trouble sometimes with understanding respect and what people do for them. They feel entitled. One of the altercations I had with my grandson this weekend, they were playing a game. 3 of the 4 were playing the game, and the youngest one wanted to play the game. So I was up there with them, and we were all playing the game, and I explained to the oldest that, the youngest going to always want to do what y'all want to do because they're growing up and they see what you're doing and they want to be like you or do some of the things that you're doing. They want to also feel important. So as I was leaving the room, I left, and then shortly thereafter, there's confusion. So I go back upstairs, ask my grandson what was going on, and he didn't want to say anything to me. Didn't want to speak, didn't want to say, wanted to walk in the bathroom, shut the door. And thanks be to God that God has really worked with me on negativity. I've always pretty much been good with it because I've worked in the field of seeing when kids have issues and problems, but it's something else when it's someone that is close to you. So I took a few deep breaths and I just walked off and let it be. And maybe about an hour later, he came to me and apologized. But as he coming to me apologize, I went in verbally, not loud, same tone that I am now, but I went in loud on telling him why that was wrong, the disrespect of it, what it's going to look like later if you don't understand this now. And I just, broke it down to him that you're not respecting what we have built, where and who I am in your life, and why that was wrong. And if you don't learn these things now, it's going to happen back to you because you reap what you sow. And so I was explaining to him those things, and he just listened. He apologized, and then I cut in, and he just listened, and he apologized. Later, before it was time to take him back home, he came back up again and apologized. And I want to say these things because we have to constantly work on our young people, because they need to hear it more than once, twice, 3 times. They need to hear it constantly because they see other kids doing it. And we all do it. I'm not saying that we in our generation didn't do it, because even I challenge my parents. I can remember sometimes when I challenged my father, and I think we all. I remember friends of my age. We would tell stories of when we challenged our fathers, and we all did. The thing is, we did it a lot later than the age that is being done today, and this is kind of the reasons why I wrote the book Every Child Deserves a Father, because a lot of these principles, a lot of these attitudes have changed, and we need our kids to get it and understand it. We see in the school systems that kids seem to have more rights than the teacher, than the administration. We even see it even in our homes, that kids think that they are privileged to stuff. I always laugh when I see at different cookouts how we want to feed the kids before we want to feed the fathers. Now, I understand that the fathers aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, but if the fathers are doing what they're supposed to be doing, we have to kind of show kids the importance and level of fathers. Now, if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, sure, feed the kids first. But it's just these little things that we must instill into our kids. Kids don't go to church anymore like they used to. And I know church is different, and I know times are different, but there are just certain principles that needs to be instilled into them. Same thing happened, actually. My wife had the same problem with the oldest granddaughter, and she had to get her straight as well. And usually they don't challenge her at all. It's just what we have to get our kids to understand. When we see stuff like the Cam Newton 7-on-7 camp, and when we see stuff like in your own household, and when kids will just get in the car, and I work for the government, and I kind of work with kids, and kids don't do it as much. I've seen them, but most of the kids that I deal with are kind of like a lot young, and they have to sit in the back. But I've had some times in past where I've dealt with teenagers, and they want to get in the car and turn the radio. They don't say hello, hi, who are you? They just want to just immediately turn the radio. So we have a lot of work. I want to give massive shout outs to an organization here in Richmond, the Broken Men Foundation. I've been by a couple of times, and I see how they're teaching young men how to develop themselves and some of the skills that they're going to need when they get older. As times change, some of these things may not be as needed. However, just in case they are, let us teach them. And then if they're not needed, then so be it. They teach them how to, tie a tie, and, say hello when you come in the presence of others. They're teaching these things, and they're teaching these things a lot of times to kids who probably are not well off when we think of financially saying. But it doesn't even matter. Even those who are financially stable and fit, they have that same mentality. So it's across the board. It doesn't matter the economic status that one is in. It's just the attitude of today. Coaching basketball, it's a different coaching kids today than when I played. We just respect our coach, and we just sat down and just deal with it. Today, all the kids wants to play. They want to play. Now, I know when I was going, if you weren't good enough, you just sat on the bench and just had to just deal with it and just improve yourself next summer, or don't play. We give trophies out for just participating, and we don't have to earn things. We just think that things are to be given to us, and we have to train kids a different way. Go back to training kids so they will have incredible work ethics. The Bible also speaks on, if you don't work, then you should not eat. And I know I'm paraphrasing that, but I think that you get the point here. Let us all pull together and let us work with these kids. It just shows me that we, as grandparents, have to instill in our grandchildren even more than what we were already doing, because we felt like we were doing a lot. We would have family meetings, but we have to do even more. Our kids have to be less entertained and gain more knowledge. I hope that this message has helped. Much love to you all, and hopefully we can continue to build up a child and train him in the way he should go. Love you.